Just a Podcast Alone.
I'm your ring hello host, Madeline.
I'm your turn your phone off in the movie theater host, Emma.
Unless you're at Alamo Draft House, where now you have to order on your phone. Did you see that?
No, but that sounds stupid.
To order food on your phone. So everybody's got to be on their phones.
That's not good.
Society's over. Anyway, thanks for tuning into this week's show. It's Emma's side quest.
Yes, it is.
Oh, ring. What's the side quest?
This week we're talking about phones in games. Not phone games. Not gaming phones. Fake phones that are in games.
Not even games to play while taking phone calls or while working at a call center.
What were on those lists? Did you look?
No, I didn't.
I want to know what games I should play while working at a call center.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
If there's a point where you're talking and I'm bored this episode, I'll look it up.
Madeline's always riveted by everything I have to say.
It's true, and so it's unlikely that I will look it up, but just in case.
Okay.
In case the moment comes.
Anyway, I thought of this because I guess a few weeks ago now.
I know, it feels like not that long, but it was.
Verizon had a big, almost day-long outage of service. Not almost day-long, it was 14 hours, but it was a lot of the day.
Yeah.
Where there was no service, and for some reason there was no real explanation for why there was no service. I still don't know why. I don't know if they've said. Did you get your... I don't know if our phone plan owner has claimed their $20 of credit yet.
I could not tell you.
Since that was the consolation. You get $20 to spend on Verizon.
Apparently,
but anyway,
Verizon has confirmed, in case anyone was dying to know this from our podcast, that it was a software issue, not a cybersecurity breach.
I guess good.
I guess.
I think it still sounds bad that they had a software issue, that was that detrimental, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that sort of got me thinking about phones and the way phones have been evolved throughout game design to be used in various different genres of games. And I was also thinking about, I don't think there are very many games where, you lose service and it's a plot point of some kind.
Yeah.
I feel like it's more often for, oh, my phone died.
That happens. This just came to me, I think when you were in the sewers in the recent Like a Dragons, you can't save because your phone doesn't have service.
I know there's a few times where you do not have your phone, both in, Yakuza 7 and Lost Judgment, I think. And so you can't access your healing items even, or anything like that, because that's all through your phone menu for some reason.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just your inventory in general. But I do remember the one fight against the Chainsaw Man, not to be confused with Chainsaw Man.
Not to be confused.
Just a man with a chainsaw,
Mm-hmm.
where you have there's healing items on the floor that you have to pick up because you don't have your stuff, including your phone. But that's the closest it gets. Either your phone dies or you lose your phone in some way, and your phone is tied to some sort of mechanic that you usually can access, and then you lose access to it. But there's not really bad service or no service, which I think would be an interesting thing to have. Yeah. Personally.
Did you say that did happen in Cold Steel? Not to encourage you to talk about Cold Steel.
So I was thinking about this. It's not really the phone lines. It's the internet is taken down. They just installed all this OrbitNet stuff, and there's various jamming things happening, so they can't contact people far away anymore. So that kind of That's more, again, more like jamming situation than something else. But I think that is the closest I'm aware of where it's like, oh, we've been cut off from contact by our faulty technology.
Right. Well, it's interesting to consider. It makes you consider how phones are used in games and why that kind of thing that, like, that Verizon outage was a pain in the butt, frankly, for me as someone who does make phone calls as part of my job and also communicates primarily with my boss via, like, text message all the time. It was a real pain. It really disrupted that day significantly.
Yeah.
And that's true for me because I have like a phony kind of job, probably in both senses of that word. And, in video games, when we have cell phones, like 90% of the time, they are used for a specific reason, which is not particularly like interesting mechanically or crazy relevant to the plot.
Yeah.
And that specific reason is we are too cool to have game mechanics that aren't justified by something that our character holds.
Yeah.
We can't just say there's a menu.
I mean, it's also just like attempting to, like, it usually happens with games that are set in like our modern times, right? And so I do think they're like, well, everybody has a cell phone, so you should have a cell phone. But, like, what does that cell phone do? And then it expands from there to be like, well, we'll have some mechanical thing you can do with the phone, right? Like, you get texts, you can take selfies, right? Those sorts of things. But nobody has been like, and you scroll TikTok yet.
Yeah.
Which, again, honestly, I think that is what a lot of people do on their phone.
And you take damage.
Maybe you shouldn't anymore.
Yeah.
Just to put it out there. It is US owners now. So your data is now going to the American government instead of the Chinese government. So you can decide whether that's better or worse for you, I suppose.
True.
But in terms of like what phones are actually used for, even when they mechanically justify them and do some things that some people use their phone for, there are not a lot of games where people use their phones like real people use their phones, actually.
No, not at all. In every sense, really. I mean, okay, selfies maybe. Like, phone camera.
Sure, yeah.
It does, I think, in many games, capture the experience of using a phone camera to a certain extent. Except not the experience of taking, like, 20 versions of the same selfie to decide which one to send. So, maybe not.
Yeah.
But phone camera, I'd say, pretty true to life, mostly. But in terms of texting behavior, not at all. In terms of any other use of your phone for other things or apps or social media or whatever, not at all. Even in terms of how characters utilize, like, when Yagami is taking, like, FaceTime calls. Not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the phone camera, you're right, but there isn't, like, you can't, like, take video with your phone camera usually.
Oh, that's true.
In games, which, I mean, Games for Change idea, I guess. Observer training.
Yeah, sure.
With a phone camera that you can record video on.
Is that not Sicko Snap?
No. No, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, no.
But yeah, even like the games that come up for like texting, like Persona 5 comes up a lot because you get a lot of texts from people.
Well, in addition to inventing Tokyo, it has become clear that Persona 5 invented text messages.
Yes. But like there's text messages that are like plot delivery systems, right? Like you are texting with your friends and it's a way to have like a group meeting without having to get everybody together, which makes sense. But the main mechanical way it's used is like people invite you to hang out with them all the time.
Yeah.
And you just leave them on red if you do not go hang out with them.
Yeah. Which, that could be real.
Sure, but how does Joker have any friends, honestly?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the way Joker is, I was thinking about this because I get a lot of text messages in a day.
Sure.
Aforementioned phony job. So at this stage in my life, this was not true for a long time. At this stage in my life, I probably do participate in a given day in as many text threads with as many different people as you referred to him as Joker.
I'm sorry,
that
right?
is
Chant
not
McDude.
canon.
Yeah.
To talk this podcast.
Chant McDude.
His podcast canon name is Chant McDude.
Yeah.
Chant McDude gets texts from 12 different friends asking to hang out. I get texts from 12 different colleagues and collaborators and whatever in different group threads being like, please edit this social media caption. So we are not the same.
Yeah.
But it's overwhelming. I understand Chant McDude in a new way.
Just too popular, but in a different way.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also texting in Honkai Star Rail. I remember when that came out, people were sharing a lot of like, there's like, people said like weird, funny little texts to you, and you can give like weird, funny little replies to them. I do think that they very much sort of capture a tone in that feels real to like texting. Like people send you things that like it would make sense to send through text that they wouldn't necessarily like bring up to your face. Like random little thoughts.
Not enough games are on the like Instagram DMing someone a meme behavior.
That is kind of what some of Honkai Star Rail's texts feel like.
Yeah.
It's like, I saw this weird little meme, and I thought of you.
Yeah.
Most texting, I feel like, is very like, we're having like a conversation. They're having like a conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's little emoticons or line stickers.
Yes, Yakuza invented line stickers.
Yeah, and Neo, The World Ends With You has special Final Fantasy themed line stickers, which is cute.
Very good. Implies the existence of Final Fantasy.
It does. It implies that Final Fantasy is fictional.
Yeah.
In the world of The World Ends With You, which is interesting, actually. So
awesome, given that they appear in Kingdom Hearts, where Final Fantasy is not fictional. Just really good. A lot of good lore implications there.
Very good.
But yes, this podcast, I mean, there are lots of funky little indie cool phone games, but researching for this podcast, in addition to, yes, underlining the difficulty of searching for phones and games, really did underline for me how boring, I mean, look, a cell phone is boring in the real world too, right? Like that's kind of the problem. But in games, they're super boring. And also, they are often clunky to use, even for the things that you would use a real cell phone for.
Yeah.
But we're saddled with them in like almost every game now.
Because Nintendo doesn't make cool consoles anymore, really.
Yeah.
Some of the examples I found was like, No More Heroes, when you get a phone call, it comes out of the Wiimote. So you hold the Wiimote up to your ear to hear it. Which awesome. I do think the PlayStation 5 does attempt to ape sometimes with the controller speaker. I think I wrote down like
controller speaker.
When Chadley calls you in Final Fantasy 7, if you don't have headphones plugged in like I usually do, his voice will by default come out of the controller speaker. So you'd put it up to your ear, kind of.
It does capture the terror of getting like an unexpected phone call from someone that you know. All right, I'll give myself some credit. When I get an unexpected phone call from like a number or something I'm pretty sure is like a business thing, I'm like, oh, whatever. I'm an adult. Mm-hmm. I can take a phone call. Mm-hmm. But when I get an unexpected phone call from like mom, I'm like, oh God, what is it? And it's almost always her being like, let's book this train.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Chadley calling me with no explanation would spike my heart rate.
Sure. There's also the much maligned Wii U. Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Like your smartphone was on the separate handheld part of the Wii U, so you could like check your text messages, but like also be playing the game, which is kind of real, right?
Yep.
It's like, oh yeah, I'm talking to you, but like I'm also like I'm checking something on my phone.
Emma is always checking something on her phone.
I'm always
during the
checking
podcast.
something on her phone.
Emma's actually always playing a video game while recording the podcast.
It's true. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's less like external type stuff built into consoles now. So like it feels natural to have like a little Wii U thing to be like, yeah, this is where my phone lives, and then the game is on the screen, right? Because that's kind of aping how it is in reality, right?
Yeah.
There's my reality, and also have my little phone.
Yeah. Are you surprised that there aren't more games that utilize our actual phones as supplemental screens?
Well, you mentioned a lot of party games do.
Yes, you really
you
can't do a Jackbox game type thing without utilizing people's phones. Because,
Yes.
it's not like we've gotten multi-taps anymore.
Even
right?
if you had multi-taps, like, to have more people than, like, 4, realistically, play a game together in the same room, you're not going to have that many controllers.
Yeah.
And so they have to come up with some solution that allows an actual party to play their party game.
My God.
But as I think you pointed out, and you can give me the source on this or whatever, like, yeah, it's if you make a separate phone app to hook into your game, that's a lot more engineering that you have to do. More like storefronts that you have to deal with.
I didn't even think of that.
And like way more testing that you have to do.
Every time you do anything, because you created some kind of external, it's not even like it's exponential.
Yeah. I guess you could also do a website like Jackbox does. I think that's just like you go to jackbox.tv and you type the code in. You wouldn't necessarily have to have an app. But
Sure.
If it was like a long running game and your phone was supposed to persist through one game, it would probably have to be an app, which would add a lot of complexity to it.
That said, there were some, and what Emma is quoting, by the way, is the very reliable source of a Reddit thread where someone was like, no one's even going to read this, but I used to make these, and here's why we don't do it. It's hard.
Uh-huh.
So super reliable source, but things that make sense independently.
Yeah.
But in that thread, there were definitely some mobile apps that people got called out as helpful and useful. It made me, I was like, oh man, there are plenty of games where being able to have the mini-map up on my phone, like with my live location, would be awesome.
And Nintendo has started doing this again.
Yeah.
With, I believe, Breath of the Wild, Switch 2 version only, maybe, I think. If you use the Nintendo app, there's like a plugin where you can do things like view your map or various other stuff on your phone while you're playing the game on the console. Like the Wii U.
Yeah. Which is how I manage like my inventory. There were some other ones. I think Assassin's Creed Black Flag also had you can check your inventory and do some like resource harvesting passively while you're not even playing or whatever on the mobile app. And that's how I check my inventory in real life.
Yeah. I'm
like walking to the train. I'm like, oh, did I remember my computer? Let me look. So it's exactly the same.
Yeah, exactly.
And speaking of Nintendo, right? Another popular phone app, and we can get to this is phones outside of games, phones connected to games. I can get to phones in games again. But I always think it's funny when there's like an in-game phone, but you need an app to like use the phone like a phone. So for instance, you have I don't remember, it's like a Nook phone. That must be what it's called, right?
A Nook phone?
In Animal Crossing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, I was thinking about like the Barnes & Noble tablet for some reason. I was
Tom.
Like, what are we talking about?
No. The Tanuki.
Sure, yeah.
You have a Nook phone in Animal Crossing. But it's so annoying to use.
Yeah.
And it's particularly annoying to use if you want to use like the in-game like chat or texting feature and you're not playing handheld. which Emma plays her Switch handheld like all the time, and I play my Switch handheld almost never.
Yeah.
So anytime you want to like write something in a video game, and of course we're all aware of this because all systems now, televisions, game consoles, whatever, whenever you're signing into anything, they always give you the option to like jump to the website on your phone or your computer and type in the password, because typing on any kind of controller hunt and peck thing sucks.
Yep.
So in Animal Crossing, it like talks to the Switch Online app so that instead of texting on the phone that's built into the game, you can text on your actual phone. And on one hand, great. On the other hand, I think that's really funny.
Yeah.
And it made me wonder, and I know the reason is it's harder this way. It's way easier to just code a little phone into your game. But wouldn't it be nice if in that game you just had like a Nook phone app and it looked just like the one in the game and you did it all on your actual phone? That would be cool.
Yeah.
And way easier from an inventory perspective. And you could run around chopping trees while you look at the stuff that you have in your inventory. I don't know. Would be cool. That said, on the flip side, people hate Pokemon Home. So, what do I know?
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought it was interesting how many times we are forced to look at kind of a bad faked phone when we hold in our hands a bad, in a different sense, real phone.
Yeah.
That we could be using.
Yeah, that's true.
And obviously there's immersion implications to me looking at my actual phone as opposed to the screen. But I don't know, despite the fact that in-game cell phones are to a certain extent, much of the time anyway, there to promote immersion, right? Mm-hmm. That's what the phone is save point, phone is inventory thing, phone is whatever is doing. I don't feel immersed when I look at a game phone. I feel like this is not a phone.
Yeah.
This is hard to use in a way that my cell phone is not.
Yeah.
Also, where's Instagram?
True.
Has anyone really done that but Kingdom Hearts 3?
Man, I hope they bring the Keystagram back.
So great.
For Kingdom Hearts 4.
Maybe the best they'll have to, right? He's in the real world.
So baffling.
It's so awesome.
Because I guess he does. You get the phone in Kingdom Hearts 3.
The gummy phone.
It's a new gummy phone device.
That's right.
So they're really like emphasizing. Yeah, they're posting funny little photos with captions on social media for sure.
It's awesome.
That's why we still need loading screens.
I know, for awesome little stuff like that.
Yeah.
We need loading screens so we can look at our phones, both real and fake.
It's very true. Yeah. One other integration of texting that I do like and think is interesting that I don't think games use enough when they already include your cell phone and texting. So like Life is Strange, the original Life is Strange, and probably the other ones too, but I know definitely in the original Life is Strange, you get text messages. You get them during the episode, usually after you make some sort of decision. You get like immediate feedback from that person through a text, like once you leave the scene or the screen or whatever. But also in between chapters. So like when you first get your phone, when you launch chapter 2, you launch chapter 3, there's periods of time in between those chapters in the storytelling. And so Max, the main character in that, has gotten new texts. So you can like scroll back and both kind of find out a little bit more about Max in the beginning by her relationships with various people, but also like catch up on like what little plot transitions have happened between like the end of episode 2 and episode 3 or whatever. Which I think is a clever way to use that in terms of like if you want to you don't want to write all this like transitionary stuff, but you also want to imply that it happened, right? That's a useful way that games can use text messages to be able to like convey mostly inessential information, but stuff that clears up perhaps any questions that a curious player would have about the storytelling.
It's a cool way, you know, we don't like reading books in games. We don't really like audio logs, which, to be fair, do I like to receive a voice note? No.
I hate it when they leave me a voicemail. That I have to
no, I'm not talking about a voicemail. That also. But I'm talking about when people text you a voice note.
Oh. I've never had anyone do that to me. I've never met anybody who's violent. Voice noted.
It's violent. And some people are voice note people, and it's just like, you live in a bubble. Whatever, sorry, let me get back to games. Sorry. But it's cool. We like weird little ways to learn about characters, right? Like we like Ellie's little journal.
Yeah.
We like digging through people's text messages.
It does essentially function like Ellie's journal too.
Yeah.
Right. It serves the same purpose. It's just through the idea of text messaging.
Like if every time I entered like a new chapter in Final Fantasy VII, we had like text messages between the party, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
To look at. I'd be into that. Because it's fun. And it's a writing challenge because you have to think about what a character's texting voice would be.
Yes.
And like, for instance, Persona 5 does that almost not at all.
Yes.
But, you know, it pays off if you do something fun.
Futaba should definitely be using more like of the little text emojis.
Yeah.
In Persona 5.
No question. Games have, to a certain extent, like I'm thinking of horror games in particular. Like I think there are plenty of like, freaky phone stuff.
Yeah.
Happening in games
and computers in general.
Yeah. Which is interesting to me because I feel like something that is so common in like TV or movies is like cell phones are bad for plot. Right? Almost all types of plot, the existence of cell phones is bad for. Right? Yes. It's really hard to cut characters off from each other or anyone. They can always look anything up, right? Yes. 911 is always there.
The existence of cell phones does mean that there's a lot of forms of conflict that it kind of cancels out. I would love to see they're trying to look something up and the AI summary they get at the top is super wrong.
I think that's coming. I'm sure that's coming.
That's the conflict of it.
Emma should make that game. But it's
you gotta type the minus AI under pressure.
Yeah. I feel though that TV and movies will more often solve that problem by setting it pre-cell phones, or there's some weird reason they don't have cell phones or whatever. Yeah. And I do think that there is a richer tradition of games that lean into the horror of these little computers than, oh no, our story doesn't work. We have to get rid of these.
Well, I think it's because, a lot of these haunted phone or computer games is set you're looking at the phone and or computer.
Yep.
Which is not really they really tried in the War of the Worlds or whatever to do a computer interface movie. It just doesn't work.
No.
It's not interesting to watch. Who was in that movie? Who's the main actor in that movie?
I don't remember. Orson Welles.
It's not Orson Welles.
I know.
But it's not interesting to watch the main guy in that movie make facial expressions constantly.
No.
Because he's on screen and has to be doing something, but isn't actually doing any sort of actions.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. But because games have a more flexible ability to set things in places, they don't have to worry about shooting a scene that's actually engaging to watch, right? It just has to be fun to move through the phone and or computer AI. So yes. UI. I was just talking about AI. What I meant UI.
That's fine. I gotcha.
Yeah.
So yes, well, I feel like horror games are sometimes doing something interesting with phones, and like some of these like indie story games that we'll talk about now, I guess, are often doing something interesting with phones. For the most part, if your game is an action adventure game at any stage, right? If it's a cell phone, it's like it's a plot delivery device and a selfie device and maybe an inventory manager. Or if we're further back and it's a payphone, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's also a save point, or it's like a side quest delivery machine, or what's his face is calling to see if you want to go bowling.
There's a few things where you like have to make calls. There's a few games where you do have to like use an old phone to make calls. I remember in some of the Nancy Drew games, you would have like a list of numbers that you would gain over time, and you would actually like type in the numbers and call the person, and sometimes they weren't there to pick up, right? Because it was on the landline or whatever.
The phone number as a solution to a puzzle, yes. Also a genre.
Sure. Or there's a Kentucky Route Zero interlude where it's just a phone, and you can make various calls on it, and you press buttons to navigate through different operator chains, essentially.
Yeah.
They also had like a real phone number that you could call for a while. I do love that they had one that was like you can just call to get an update on the status of Kentucky Route Zero's development.
Yeah.
For a while, so you would call and it'd be like, yeah, the Kentucky Route Zero is QA testing, or something like that.
Yeah, many such cases. I love evidently there's a Who Framed Roger Rabbit game that's sort of notorious for, at some point you find a phone number in the game and there's no phones in the game, so you eventually have to discover, oh, I actually have to call this phone number to get the clue to advance the story. Which, one, funny, charming. Also, I think that game came out in like the 90s, so like pre-cell, you have to like do that on your landline.
Yeah.
Insane. But now, appropriately, and this is true of like almost all of these phone numbers, it's like an adult entertainment pay line, which is perfect for, like a Jessica Rabbit situation, but really funny. Similarly, The Last of Us apparently had real phone numbers in the game by mistake. They, like me, I learned something preparing for this podcast, thought all 555 numbers are fake. Apparently they are not.
I kind of also thought that. They should make that true.
Yeah. Anyway, they patched out those phone numbers. They patched out those phone numbers, which are evidently also adult hotlines. Which, who knows what percentage of phone numbers are used for that, I guess. Higher than I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
I was also reading a little bit about again, now I'm talking about like using your real phone to call phone numbers in games. I'm talking about everything but Emma's actual topic.
Oh, it's just phones,
I know.
Fine.
I'm just kidding. But there was apparently a French game called In Memoriam, which had all sorts of interesting ARG elements. One of them being there's a phone number you can call in the game where an actor would pick up and like play the detective, basically. And like he would talk to you or like give you clues. And as far as like I was reading an article about this, as far as anyone could tell, it was just like one guy, one actor taking all the calls. He would just carry the phone around with him all the time and pick up.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
It does feel like that's an interesting opportunity for like performance art.
Yeah.
Combined with games.
Yep. I think it would be interesting if there'd be more. I was like, oh, that's sick.
Yeah. It'd just be a matter of like managing popularity, I guess.
Yeah.
Can't hire too many actors. Shouldn't hire too few actors.
No. A couple other boring phone things before we talk about any, like, it's a cool phone thing, less common. I'd forgotten about the Pokegear,
Mm-hmm.
where you can have trainers call you and say, let's fight again, which is so boring. I've already got like a level 90, whatever the evolved Torchic is. Why would I come and fight you, Bugcatcher Steve? But whatever.
You got the Rotom phone in Pokemon
Right.
Now, which I think is mostly a glider, which unfortunately your real phone can't do.
Yet.
So, yet. You're right. That's what they should be focused on, not AI. Phone gliders. Yeah.
Have they not seen the opening promo for Breath of the Wild? Do they not know what the people yearn for? It's not AI.
It's gliders.
It's gliders.
It is gliders.
Gliders surely more safe than AI.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the phone in Watch Dogs, which is basically a magic wand.
Yeah. That's how hacking works.
Yeah.
You just do cool things on your phone, and it, like, happens, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, apparently a cell phone in the original Final Fantasy VII. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Emma's smart. Emma, talk to me about some interesting phone things.
I don't know.
Some games that use phones in ways we haven't talked about yet.
Do you have an idea for one? Is that why you're prompting me? Give me one.
I don't know. I just mean, like... So you talked a little bit about the loss of, like, switchboards or phone operator games or that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot of, like, phone operator games or customer support answering games. I watched... Malin found this video from Kiro Talks. Hello, I'm calling you about phones and games, which gave a lot of examples of phones and games that I hadn't really thought of yet. Yeah. But it talked about Home Safety Hotline, which I have seen before, which is essentially like a kind of like a spooky computer thing, but essentially you get like customer service calls about something weird happening in their house, and you've got like a manual essentially, and so you're trying to quickly identify what could be happening in their house and what they should do to fix it, right? If they have like gnomes, or a portal to space or something like that, and try to give them the correct answer and the way to fix it, or else they will call back and you'll have to do it again as their situation in their house gets worse.
Yeah.
I also realized in that like, you know, we both just played Dispatch. That's essentially a game about answering phone calls.
Yep. You don't think about it though because you don't like watch him on the phone.
Yeah. Well, he has his headset.
No. Yes. Sorry. I don't even mean that. I just mean I've played a bunch of Dispatch. Did I think about it as a phone game? Not at all.
But it is. The main sort of gameplay portion of that is like you get a lot of phone calls.
Yeah.
And you try to send the correct hero to respond to whatever need is being asked of you. There's also a game mentioned that I hadn't heard of called Telephone Trouble, where you play as a switchboard operator, essentially, because for all you kiddos who didn't know, and I barely know, really, I just know that they used to be a thing. They used to have to, like, physically connect the wires to get you to the person that you wanted to talk to on the phone. So there would be people, like an operator, that would answer you. You'd tell them, yeah, I'm calling for this. They would literally unplug and plug the wires in to properly connect you to the person you wanted to talk to.
That's how Emma and I record the podcast, actually.
That's right. I'm playing games, and Malin's working the switchboard.
That's
right. Yeah, and I guess the last one is also like in Ghost Trick, which is a, you know, detective puzzle sort of game.
We've talked about it on the show before. Go back and look it up.
Show. One of the main powers that you have is you can travel from place to place through the phone lines. So there's bunches of wires in the ground that's connecting all these like payphones and landlines together, and you can travel through them to get from place to place as people, you know, as the wires connect to each other by people calling each other. I guess there are still like phone wires, right? They're just up
Yep.
in the sky and they don't actually physically connect to your. Most of them,
There's
at least,
data
are
wires.
up on telephone poles, right?
Yeah.
And they don't connect directly to your phone in any way.
Yeah.
Does anyone have a landline anymore?
Yes. But not so many.
Yeah.
It surprises me that there aren't more, like I'm thinking of things that people do on their phones for work that could be engaging video games, right? So we have some, like, police dispatch type games, right? I mean, we just talked about them. Home Safety Hotline, Dispatch. I read about one that was sort of like a spooky, I can't remember the name of this game, but it was like a spooky 911 operator.
There's also just a 911. It's just a standard 911 operator.
So there's those sorts of I'm on the phone and I'm doing my job games. But I'm surprised that there aren't more, or I don't know, it would be interesting to see, like, what would a customer service game look like? Or a call center tycoon, right? There's a bunch of other kind of high stress phone jobs that I think you could make a nice little numbers go up game out of, potentially. There's also, like, I'd like to see a game about being a social media manager.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be fun.
Mm-hmm. That would be fun.
Like, you could almost do it like Reigns, right?
Yeah.
You're constantly, like, it's, kind of, I mean, you could do, like, an actually, like, story-based-y kind of one. Yeah. That would be fine, too. But I think you could also create a more random, like, roguelike where you're dealing with certain challenges or you're juggling. You could also make it kind of more of like a one player, kind of, maybe, but like an Overcooked type thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or you're constantly juggling, like, oh, I have to post a story, but there's this, I have to answer the comments, and there are these, like, whatever, brand collabs to decide whether we're buying an advertisement. I don't know. I think there are things you could do that might be interesting.
That does remind me, I was thinking of, like, I just said there's not a lot where you, like, scroll TikTok.
Well, there's almost no social media in games, which is, I'll be interested to see, does that change, or is that something that we just simply can't capture?
I did play until then 2 years ago, I think, which is an indie game that ultimately I was not too hot on, but it did have a few times, like, occasionally you would be, like, on the train or something, and so your character would take out their phone and scroll social media, and you could choose to, like or comment on certain ones as you wanted, and then put it away when you're done. And it was sometimes kind of clever with it, of, like, I can't remember the exact context, but there's at least one time where one of the other characters asks yours, like, did you study this morning? And you go, like, yeah. And, like, I saw you like my post on social media this morning. I don't think you were studying. And so your behavior it doesn't have, like, major story impacts, but it's cute that, like, people will be like, I saw you doing things on social media. You were not doing what you said you were doing this morning, right?
That's true. Another thing that I've not seen, obviously we love a, romance sim in games now, right? All games must have romanceable characters.
Right.
And all games also must have cell phones.
Right.
However, what I've not seen too many games try to tackle is the, like, oh, he looked at my story. Oh, I sent a text and, like, I waited 2 hours for a reply. How fast do I, like, when I send my reply, does that matter?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Phones pretty much operate as instant gratification machines in games.
Mm-hmm.
But there is not a lot of the modern, like, politics of, like, wooing.
Yeah.
That takes place on phones. Or even just, like, oh my god, my friend isn't going to answer my text for, like, 8 hours because they're an idiot.
I feel like there's not even a lot of, like Tinder games.
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned Reigns. That's what I was thinking of. That is essentially set up to feel like Tinder in the interface of it. Of you swipe right and swipe left to make various decisions. But there's not actually a lot of games that are like I'd be curious actually, because I'm not too familiar with the dating sim scene
Yeah.
because I'm not interested really, but also that we don't get very many over here.
Yeah.
I'd be curious if there are like dating sims now that are like have some form of like online dating integrated into them.
Right, or is that just too bleak?
Yeah.
In the same way as we have not yet recreated TikTok for ourselves in games because we would just keep watching it, have we not recreated, the apps-based dating system because it is simply, people are like, no, I don't want this.
But I also think it would be kind of cool for like a Persona game, like on the things you were mentioning. Like, you usually get so many texts from people. And be interesting if they were like, somebody stops replying to you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't like draw attention to it necessarily.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's meant to hint on like a upcoming story development or see if you notice and like get worried and find like a subplot or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's potential there. To like,
yes, ghosting is an underutilized plot device.
Yeah.
In games.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. I have to, of course, shout out one of my favorite phone things in games, which is the switching of payphones to cell phones in the Yakuza series.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. It's fun from a time passing perspective. It's fun from a game mechanics changing so you can save anywhere perspective. It's fun so that Kiryu can remember things not through wood carving, but through phone pictures. That's not Kiryu, that's Saejima. And I don't think that they've given Saejima a working cell phone. He probably wouldn't have one, even if they did.
I'm sure he still does the wood carvings, yeah. I think they even talk about that in Pirate Yakuza.
Yes.
His wood carvings.
It's so funny.
And I do know there's like a, in Yakuza 0, the 80s one, there's like the one guy with like a backpack phone.
Yes.
Subplot.
They
side
are
story.
Laughing at that.
And you can save with the backpack phone guy, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. A couple other things that like you or I or somebody called out in our various research. Movies have mostly decided that text messages appear as bubbles on screen. Like that we don't want to look at a character looking at a phone.
Yeah. Occasionally, I think they will do like a zoom in on the phone screen if it's not a conversation. If you're just looking at a reply.
One message. Yeah.
But yes, the commonly accepted film vernacular now for text messaging is like it just like they put the character like in 1/3 of the screen.
Yeah.
And then the text messages pop up on the other 2/3 for you to read.
Yeah.
Which to be honest, I don't know I'm sure I feel like there could be some innovation in that space, but I don't have any ideas for them.
But I thought it was notable that like I'm sure there's other games that do this, but the significant example of games that we thought of that do this was Spider-Man, which is of course both comes out of a movie tradition and is trying to ape the kind of cinematic feel.
Notably, though, the one big Sony property that is set in modern world.
Sure.
The one big and the Sony properties are all very cinematic, right? But like Kratos isn't getting text messages, so
yet.
I did see in one of the like phone ones you could call for like the original God of War. You could call phone numbers and they'd give you like little hints to little bonus Easter eggs, like where you can kill David Yaffe for being annoying. So.
There are also there's a decent mini genre of games about like discovering a lost phone and learning something about the owner through it.
Yeah.
With mixed reviews. That there's a pretty good article on The Verge. Did you actually get to read this, or did you get paywalled?
I got paywalled.
No, I read the whole thing. Anyway, that they called attention to like it's basically in the same way as like Blair Witch, kind of like a found footage horror thing, but you're going through someone's phone.
Yeah.
They also drew the parallel in that article to like epistolary novels, right?
Yeah.
And texting as sort of like a riff on that in a modern way. Although I have to say, like when you're reading like Dracula or whatever, it's cool that it's a letter. And when I'm reading something that is told primarily through text, I'm like, this is the cringiest thing I've ever read. So it does make you wonder if people cringed at Dracula. They're like, oh my god, it's written as a letter. This is so embarrassing.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh man, random memory blitz. Did you watch those like YouTube series that were like the Jane Austens, like but through like vlogs?
Oh, but like Hank Green was involved in this somehow, right?
I don't remember. Maybe.
That sounds familiar, but I don't know if I actually watched them.
Like oh god, what's her name in Pride and Prejudice?
Lizzie Bennet. The Lizzie Bennet Diaries.
Bennet was like a vlogger.
Yeah. Yes. It was Hank Green who was one of the producers of this.
Sorry, I was thinking about epistolary novels, so I was like, that's one, I guess.
Yeah.
They turned it into one a little bit.
Correct. Also in that article, they talked about a game called Replica, which was an interesting and dark... I will be interested to see if there are more phone surveillance games that appear in this world that we are living in right now, and not in the like, it's Watch Dogs and my phone can hack into anybody else's phone kind of way, but in sort of the more insidious way. So Replica, I think it's a game by a Korean creator, but I can look that up. I can go back and look that up. But basically in the game, you've been imprisoned or detained by a fictional government, and your job is to hack into somebody else's phone to prove they're a terrorist, basically, and then they'll let you go, right? It was really interesting. In this Verge article, they quoted the creator of that game, Somi, who said that most players, I need to open this up and see what country this person is from, but most players in my country and some other countries like China and Turkey said it felt very real. But many reviews from America and Europe say Replica is much too childish, even though it's describing real issues. Dark.
Yeah,
South Korean creator. Influenced by an anti-terror bill passed there in 2016. Which allows the Korean National Intelligence Service to wiretap your phone if they think you're a terrorist.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't do anything like that in America.
No.
That's all Asian people.
Certainly not.
I do think, like, you know, there's been plenty of like Papers, Please clones that range from like set in other specific countries to like cozy.
Right.
But I do feel like it could use like an update, you know, because that's set very much in like a vague Eastern European sort of setting. Yeah. In the past, kind of. It'd be interesting to have one that's like thinking about the ways that the things people have to go through now to get into a country. Again, bringing it back to phones, going through your whole social media history, for example. Biometrics and facial recognition databases and all this sort of stuff.
So much gaming potential.
Yeah, I love these times. It's full of great ideas for game design.
Ah, what fun hooks.
Yippee.
Well, finally, I'll add a lighter note, which is you can't read an article about game design in phones without talking about Catherine. Catherine on every single article.
Yes.
But it did make me think about, I think you see this in TV and movies more, but Catherine, one of the only games that I saw that really, I mean, first of all, that like grapples with the fact that like somebody else can see your phone.
Yes.
Like that your phone isn't this like magic screen that exists in your brain as it floats. Like he's got to go look at the sexy pictures alone.
Yes, he frequently runs to the bar's bathroom to read certain texts so that nobody else can see them.
But also a game that depicts the very real act of actually drafting a text message.
Yeah, so in Catherine, you're a guy named you're a guy named Vincent, and you are potentially having in full body a few different affairs. In the original, just one, on your girlfriend, but you're also texting your girlfriend, so you're getting these various messages in, from women, and you compose it line by line, essentially.
Yeah.
And each line has like one of 3 different options that you can pick, that craft the tone of what you're trying to say, right? Whether it's discouraging or encouraging, or flippant or intimate or whatever.
Yeah.
But every time you change it, like he'll just like constantly kind of be muttering to himself, like, I don't know about that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And so you get like, 3 lines, and then it's a full text, made up of different various parts that you then send along to whatever woman you're talking to at that time. Which I think is an interesting way to craft text messages. When usually if you're texting in a game, you're just picking between one of a couple different responses at best. Yeah.
Well, in summary, give us social media in games. Give us more impractical phone apps that talk to games. Give us some dark phone games about surveillance and the police state.
I do think at minimum, if you're like including cell phone as like a UI element, I would like to see like if you pull it out too much, like that has an impact on like the way people talk to you.
Yeah. Give us a phone battery.
Yeah, maybe. Your Segway has a battery in Infinite Wealth, so why not a phone battery?
Exactly.
That does feel like something good for a horror game.
Yeah.
Like a balance between just like killing your phone off immediately is like having to resource manage your phone battery, essentially.
That's a good idea. This podcast has been chock full of good ideas. Well, listeners, thanks for tuning in, probably on your phone, to another episode of Talk This.
It's dangerous to podcast alone.
How meta that we are in your phone right now, probably, unless you're listening on a computer.
So true.
But it's a podcast about phones coming from your phone. Whoa. If you have thoughts about that, if you have thoughts about whether people would have thought that letter-based novels were lame in the 1800s, if you agree that Persona 5 invented texting, if you'd like to see more stupid line stickers that reference other games within games, if you think we ought to go back to switchboard operators in games or in the real world, hit us up on social media. On your phone. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blue Sky at Talk This Podcast. You can also visit our website on your phone, www.talkthispodcast.com, where you can read all about the show, check out the games in the hat, and read our blog. But most importantly, you should subscribe to the show, maybe on your phone, on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, Pandora Podcasts, online, and on the phone app. Oh, that threw me off enough that I don't remember what I said. Pandora Podcast, Spotify,
it's a lot of places. We're in a lot of places.
Overcast, Pocket Casts. It's amazing how that comes out with absolutely no participation from my brain when we record this. And the moment my brain starts operating, it's gone. But importantly, you should subscribe so you never miss an episode of Talk This on Sundays. Next week, we're talking about 2 games.
For our old game, we're talking about Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth.
Right.
Why are you laughing about that, by the way?
I don't know. Digimon, the existence of Digimon is funny.
It's funny too. Okay.
Yeah.
And Absalom.
So look forward to that. And the following week, it's a Not Games episode of Talk This. And then the following week, it's a 7 weeks in gaming.
Yes.
So get hyped.
I'm hyped.
All right. I'm running out of minutes. Emma, sign us off.
This week, I hope that you've got enough quarters to call